What's going on, you beautiful human? You're listening to the Spiritual Show podcast from thespiritualroom.co. This podcast is a space where we blend ancient wisdom with new age teachings around spirituality, awakening, quantum physics, astrology, and more. Join us for weekly episodes where we dive deep into this truth and expand our consciousness as a collective. Hello, you beautiful soul. My name is Danielle Grant, and I'll be your guide on today's spiritual show. Today on our show, we are talking about the energies we are experiencing as a collective. Before we dive into today's episode, here are the monthly updates from the Spiritual Room. For the month of November, the Spiritual Room has the following offerings and events. To learn more and register for any of these, head to thespiritualroom.co/offerings. Our monthly free offering is Buddhism 101, the Buddha's attitude towards worldly knowledge on November 10th, What is Meditation on Wednesday, November 24th, and our paid offering for the month is Understanding Buddhism, the Ultimate Truth on November 20th, and our 2 moon ceremonies, the new moon ceremony on November 4th and the full moon ceremony on November 19th. Head to thespiritualroom.co/offerings to register for these events. And now for your energy update of the week. The energies that we're feeling right now are big. And I say that because they are big. And I say that not to scare you, but rather to encourage you that if you're someone who has this inner call right now to make a shift in your life or to take action on that thing that's challenging you or to really move beyond something that's holding you back, now is the time. Now is the time because the energies are shifting right now between grids. And something that you're going to come to learn as we go through this podcast is really how this 3rd dimensional, 4th dimensional, and 5th dimensional grids work on planet Earth. But right now, I want to talk about the energies that we're experiencing because on this specific energy update for the month of November 2021, we are being given a great opportunity right now, and I do not want you to miss this. You are having a feeling right now of things not working. You're having a feeling like you are stuck in a box and you want to break free. You are having a feeling like this is heavy energy. You are having a feeling like nothing is moving. And that is because we are nearing this 0 point state. And the 0 point state comes frequently. But we're in a shift right now of consciousness between 3D and 5D. And what that means is the energies have to shift from vibrating at a certain frequency in the 3rd dimension and moving into a 5th dimensional state. And as those energies start to shift, there becomes these 0 points as they kind of shift between different levels. As those points surface, what happens is we feel them a lot more. We feel these great pullbacks to launch forward. And when we're in those, like we are in right now, it's so important to realize that this is where we want to be. It can often be a feared state. It can feel like we don't want to be a part of it. But ultimately, this is where we want to be. We want to be in a state, in a flux of energy where we are moving from one grid to the next. And right now, we are being offered that. So I want to encourage you, the person listening to this, as you understand the energies that we're going to be experiencing for the month of November specifically, is this idea of breaking free and breaking free from where you are. You could be, maybe you've been working in a job for a long time and you're no longer aligned with it. Maybe you have been working a business for a long time and you're no longer aligned for it. Maybe you're in a relationship and you feel like you're no longer aligned for it. This is coming up for you right now because the highest aspect of you is asking you, is this still what you want? Is this still what you want to be in energetically? Or do you want to shift? Because the cool thing about the other energies that we're experiencing right now is the shift beyond where we are. So one of the things we're experiencing right now is this feeling like it's stuck or I'm not sure, and we're really having to trust the universe. But the other side to that, when you decide to lean into these energies and execute on those things, is that you get the momentum behind you. And what that ultimately is actually a shift between divine masculine and divine feminine energy. The masculine energy is one that is a little bit heavier. It's not a little bit, it's a lot heavier. It's very 3rd dimensional. It's very this way or that way. It's not expansive. It's you have to stay in this thing because that's what the world says. But as we shift in consciousness, the divine feminine energy is rising. And that energy is allowing the expansiveness, is allowing the clearing, is allowing the idea that you no longer want to be in that thing. And it's providing you the thing that you do want. But we can never shift beyond that unless we are willing to look at it. So as we wrap up this energy, update for the month of November in this specific podcast today, I want you to look at your life right now and ask yourself, where am I being challenged? Where am I holding back? What am I holding on to? And what do I need to do to move beyond that space, that state? Right now is the time to do this. And as you begin to understand the energies and we begin to do these updates consistently on the podcast, you're going to see how as you play the energy game that the astrology and Gaia and Mother Earth are providing us, you'll see your life move in a more aligned way. You'll see yourself evolve into the next level you, into the fifth dimensional aspect of you. And I think that's one of the coolest things about these energy updates is that we're going to be able to play them like a game because that is ultimately what they are. And for a long time, we didn't have awareness or eyeballs on what this energy was. But as the rise in consciousness has happened, we're having more and more people be able to express these energies through channelings, through astrology. We're seeing planets we've never seen before. The Earth is at different levels of consciousness we've never seen before. And that is all allowing us this opportunity to tap into this energy game on a deeper level because we actually get to see what is going on through a conscious state, because we can actually feel and see this conscious energy as we ascend into the fifth dimension. So today's energy update is all about having the awareness that you are being rebirthed right now. You're being asked to move away from an old aspect of you, and you might not know anything of what the future holds or what that looks like. And in your mind, there might be massive confusion, but that is actually exactly where you're supposed to be and exactly what the energies are asking of you. So if that is you, give yourself a pat on the back because you are exactly where you need to be. And as we begin this powerful shift from divine masculine to more divine feminine energy on planet Earth, on Gaia, the more that you're going to be able to step into your next level, to step into your fifth dimension, and to really evolve and transcend into the spiritual being that you're here to be and experiencing it through your human self. That's what I got for you on today's energy update. Now let's go ahead and expand on the update of the collective. One of the things that we're experiencing right now is a rise in consciousness. And you can probably tell in the climate that we're experiencing right now that we are in some sort of shift or in some sort of transformation. The society has never seen what we are in right now. And over the last basically 2 years, we've really been experiencing a massive shift in consciousness. And that's what I really want to talk about today is what you can expect in the coming months and ultimately what this means to you. What this ultimately means to you is that you are being asked inside internally within that inner voice, that intuitive self, that inside aspect of you to remove yourself from things that no longer serve you, low vibrational activities, relationships, jobs, projects, anything that is no longer going to serve the highest aspect of you, the fifth dimensional aspect of you, the evolution of your conscious self in the rise of consciousness on planet Earth. Anything that does not serve that aspect of you is being asked to clear right now. And that can seem really intense in our lives because it can seem like we have no control. It can seem like things are coming up from our past that are just, we feel like we're being haunted by them. But that is all happening because we're in a shift of consciousness. And in order for planet Earth, Mother Gaia, to reach this rise in consciousness, we have to clear things that would suppress consciousness. And what suppress consciousness in our day and age is our limitations within our mindset, within our minds, our beliefs, our thoughts, and our stories, the things that we hold on to negatively, whether it's in our past or our future. Those things, including relationships, those things don't allow our consciousness to rise, which is why you are most likely experiencing a shift in your life. Relationships are being challenged. Projects are being challenged. Your career is being challenged. A habit within your day-to-day life is being challenged. This is happening because of the rise in consciousness. That should give you some sort of peace of mind, knowing that one, you are not crazy, and two, you're actually exactly where you're supposed to be. So what can you expect in the coming months? The first thing that you're going to experience is this calling internally to dive deeper into something. Now, this could be triggered by someone on the external aspect of you. It could be a friend, a family member. It could be an article you read. It could be a YouTube video, a podcast, something that you listen to that triggers you to either get into a really angry state, a negative state, or into a state where you're like, that's not going to serve me, or I see this playing out and it's actually, that's not like in the best interest of the highest collective. So what you're going to experience is this internal call to dive deeper, to ask what you are feeling and experiencing right now, and how can you raise your vibration? It's really asking you to look inside and look for your truth. Oftentimes when we're looking for our truth, it can be misinterpreted with purpose. Purpose and truth are not the same thing. And so when we talk about what you're going to experience, it's really this internal aspect of what the truth is, and the truth of consciousness and the expanded idea and understanding of consciousness is ultimately what you're going to find yourself seeking over the coming months. Now, in the same conversation of diving deeper and exploring what you're feeling and what you're experiencing right now and how you can raise your vibration, it's also important to look at what you need to let go of. So when you're talking about how you can raise your vibration, the same conversation is, what do I need to let go of that is low vibration, that is a stagnant vibration, that is a doubting vibration? And how do I actually let go of that? Is it some sort of experience in my mind? Is it an actual physical action or activity that I need to do? But ultimately, like I said, you're going to find yourself in a position where you're wanting to go deeper inside. You're wanting to challenge some of these things that you feel no longer resonate with you and are no longer in alignment. Another thing that you're going to be experiencing in the coming months is the shift between the physical and the non-physical. As you begin to deepen your wisdom and understanding of spirituality and consciousness, you find that there is dimensions. And on this podcast and at the Spiritual Room, we talk a lot about the 3D, the 4D, and the 5D dimensions and how we can move beyond them, we can transform them, and we can actually live within those frequencies, within those grids, within those dimensions. When we are talking about what you're going to experience, you're going to be experiencing a shift of the physical and the non-physical. You're going to be experiencing a shift between the 3D, the 4D, the 5D reality that we live within, that is on planet Earth, and what is actually happening in the highest realms, beyond the 9th dimension, which is what we can actually experience here on physical plane on Earth. Anything beyond that is what we call non-physical. So one of the things that you're going to find yourself going towards is this idea of trying to make sense of the world around you. This idea of, what is this inner voice? What is this intuition? How do I deepen it? How do I get to know it more? And that's really helping you start to connect to that non-physical aspect of you. One of the most challenging things that we find ourselves in is actually moving away from the physical reality, which is the ego reality that we live within, because it seems the most real, because it's very tangible. We can see it in front of us. If there's a water ball in front of you, there's a water ball in front of you. That's what your mind is saying. But what we can't see is the greater non-physical world beyond us, which is the dimensions, the energetic frequencies that we cannot physically see on planet Earth. However, they do still exist there. And as you begin to deepen your understanding or practice of the non-physical, of the conscious aspect, you realize that that world, that reality is actually much greater than what you can physically ever see on planet Earth. And what you're going to find is your mind starting to conceptualize this idea that something can connect on a non-physical state. Meaning, maybe you meet someone at a coffee shop and then you end up having a deeper conversation with them. And it's a very aligned, synchronistic conversation. The next thing you know, they become a great friend or maybe a client or someone that you work on a project with or something of highest value. That happened in a non-physical reality before it happened in a physical reality. And so as you start to move through this in the coming months and to deepen your understanding of consciousness, you're going to find yourself starting to question how certain things happened. Like, wow, how did that happen? How did that physical thing happen? How did I call that into my life? And that is, again, guiding you into this deeper understanding of who you are as a spiritual being, having a human experience. When we talk about this idea of you seeking physical and non-physical, ultimately what we're seeking is you are seeking the understanding of vibration and frequency. Vibration and frequency is all non-physical. Everything that we see physically with our eyes is a vibration and frequency. However, when we're talking about creating a different reality, we're talking about removing attachments, we're talking about healing experiences and emotions, what we're actually talking about is working within vibration and frequency, which is we're working within a non-physical reality of ourselves. Think about this for a second. Can you see your mind working when you think thoughts? Do you see the different thoughts in front of you? The answer to that is no. But when you think that the thoughts in your mind or think about the experiences, there's many different things going on, and you can see the past experience or the future experience very vividly in your mind, but you're not actually physically seeing anything. That is the non-physical. That is dealing within vibration and frequency. And on a physical level, those vibrations and frequencies are being translated to you as your human self, and then you execute on them, allowing you to see them in the physical form. Now, why does this matter? Why am I bringing up this idea that you're going to start finding yourself seeking this understanding of what is physical and what is non-physical? When we talk about having a rise in consciousness, we're talking about a rise in a frequency. I just said that frequency and vibration is a non-physical thing. The more that you begin to learn about this non-physical aspect of you, the frequency and the vibration aspect of you, the easier that aspect of you becomes. It's kind of like anything. When you start anything new, you don't know a whole lot, but the more you progress with it, the easier that it gets, the better you get at it, right? It's the same thing as this. So the more time that you spend understanding what frequency and vibration is, applying this idea of the non-physical into your life and allowing it to manifest in a physical form, the easier it is. The faster you can call in this reality, the faster you can heal yourself, the faster you can move beyond any limitation and actually make the physical reality work for you. And if you don't work in that and you just strictly stick in this 3D physical world and you don't take time to understand what it means on the wholeness that it is, you will most likely stay where you are. But having awareness that you are going to hear this call over the coming months, you're going to find yourself in conversations, reading blogs, coming across videos, podcasts that are trying to help you educate yourself to this understanding. So if I can introduce it to you here on this podcast today and say, hey, by the way, you're probably going to find yourself in this situation and you're seeking it, that's going to allow you to get more wisdom out of it, allow you to move quicker to get the information to make the non-physical reality manifest in the physical. If you want to change any aspect of your life, you don't need to look at your actual physical surroundings. What you need to do is you need to look at the vibrational reality. What are the words that you're using? What are the thoughts that you're thinking about it? What are the actions that you're taking? What are the non-physical things that make up this change that you're seeking? And what does that look like? Most often, when you take time to do this for yourself, you'll find that you're creating a very limited reality because your words are very limited, your actions are very limited, your beliefs are very limited, and so your reality is very limited. But when we're talking about making a change in any aspect, you ultimately want to look at it through a vibrational reality first, which, to be completely honest, is totally foreign to all of us because we're not taught this in our education system. But that's also why right now, as we have a rise in consciousness, you might hear this internal call or find yourself seeking this information. Because truly, if you want to create the change that you want to have in your life and you want to ascend and evolve into the highest aspect that is you, which is what we call our purpose, then you need to understand vibration and frequency. And without that understanding, it's very difficult to make that change. But once you have that understanding, it becomes very easy. That is why you're going to feel that call, because without that information, you're not going to get the change, which is not going to happen for the rise in consciousness. You get me? You feeling me? The other thing that you're going to experience yourself in is this idea of new challenges. Without any kind of change, without any kind of challenge, there can't be any kind of change. And you might say, well, why does there always have to be a challenge? Well, there doesn't always have to be a challenge, but there's going to be something that trips you up. There's going to be something that makes you question what you're doing. And that question or that prompt should allow you the opportunity to either go left or right. And most often, if you're going right, what that stop is doing is hoping that you'll look at it and go left instead of right. So you have to almost expect that as you move in this rise of consciousness, you understand that we're exploring consciousness, that you're being asked to dive deeper within yourself and seeing what's not working. You're being asked to understand the physical and the non-physical world, vibration and frequency more. When you're in that whole arena of change, there has to be some sort of change, challenge, something in front of you that kind of stops you and makes you question what's happening. But ultimately, what's being asked of you is, are you willing to step up to that? Are you willing to look at that thing that stopped you? Are you willing to look at the resistance, the challenge that's in front of you, and move beyond it? But deeper than that, are you willing to see that as you making progress? Because without those challenges, without those things that stop you, that make you question, we often continue to go the way that we're not supposed to go. But when we have challenges come up or we have things that stop us, what it's actually doing is our highest self is asking us to consider exactly what it is that we're doing, meaning that we have finally gotten to a point where our highest aspect is questioning that for us. So when we don't have challenges, we're not actually going the right way, or we're not where we need to be yet. So from my perspective, I'm always looking for the challenge. And when I see the challenge, I know I'm moving faster because it's like, okay, well, now I'm being questioned, which means I'm at a fork in the road. And when I know I'm at the fork in a road, or I know I'm being challenged, I know that I'm closest to the highest vibration. And as we get deeper into this podcast, we're going to learn more about vibration and frequency. But without those challenges, one, you don't have the ability to rise in consciousness, rise your vibration and frequency by saying, I want to move through this challenge. I want to look at this resistance. I want to move through it. That's one part of it. But the other part of it is then you get the opportunity to take a different action, to make a different move, to think a different thought. And that is ultimately going to bring you to that next level aspect of yourself. So over the coming months, again, you're going to experience this inner desire to dive deeper into what's not serving you. You're going to have this deeper desire to learn more about the physical and non-physical world, the vibration and frequency. And you're going to find yourself in situations that challenge you, whether it's a thought and a belief that, hey, this job doesn't work for me anymore and it's highly uncomfortable. Maybe it's a relationship or friendship that you're just like, man, there's just something about this and it's challenging and it's taking a lot of energy from me. Those are designed to help you stop and to think about what you're doing, which allows you to ascend into that next highest aspect of yourself. If this is resonating with you and you want to get more grounded into the new energies, then I invite you to join us for a new moon ceremony on November 4th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can click the link in the show notes to register for this event. And before you go ahead and judge this event, I want to just encourage you that the full moon and the new moon are energies playing in the non-physical world that I just talked about, which is a vibration and frequency, meaning that as you begin to engage in new moon and full moon ceremonies, what you're actually engaging in is a consistent monthly vibration and frequency that is allowing you to expand in a faster and greater state and space than you could ever imagine before. So if that resonates with you and you want to check it out, then go ahead and click the show notes down below to register for that event. How are you going to navigate what you're experiencing over the next little while? One of the first things that you can do, like I said, is you can ask yourself, what vibe are you in? Are you in a negative vibe or are you in a positive vibe? Are you in a stagnant vibe or are you in an expansive vibe? Just ask yourself, what vibe am I in? The second thing to do is to look at what you're thinking and speaking and make adjustments. What is it that you're thinking about a certain thing in your life? Write all those thoughts down. What is it that you need to do to make adjustments? Maybe things are going really great, but you want to take it to the next level. Well, how can you take those positive aligned thoughts already from where they are into the next level? It doesn't always have to be negative, but taking time to stop and look at what you're thinking and speaking and then deciding on what those adjustments are is going to help you navigate this time a lot more. Because like I said, you're being asked to turn inwards right now. You're being asked to look at what no longer is serving you in the energies that you're experiencing in November of 2021. And the last thing that you can do to help yourself navigate this is spend time grounding yourself through meditation. Meditation can be done so many different ways, and most of the time, the reason why people don't meditate is because they have a distorted belief or limitation in their mind about what they're not doing or what they have done or whatever excuse that you're listening to. But ultimately, one of the best things to do is to engage in some sort of meditation that allows you to just ground yourself, to calm down that mind a little bit and really feel into the energies that you're experiencing. Maybe it's feeling into that challenging spot that you had or feeling into what that expansive aspect of you looks like. But taking that time for yourself is so, so important. So those are the three things that you can do to help you navigate this time that we're experiencing and the energies that we are all experiencing as a collective that is asking us to really see what is not serving us to help us move, grow, evolve, and ascend into our next level, our highest aspect. Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Show podcast with me today. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the energies we are experiencing as a collective. If you want to know how the new moon energies will be impacting you, join us next week when we will be discussing the November new moon energies and how you can best navigate them. As always, you can head to thespiritualroom.co to sign up for our weekly spiritual communication email. As well, check out the links and resources we have in today's show notes. That's all for the episode today, beautiful human. See you in the next one. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram at thespiritualroom.co and on the blog at thespiritualroom.co/blog. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.